For Afghanistan, it's a cycle with no end. Body after body lying next to each other. This time the victims of a powerful truck bomb. Many were high school students staying in a dormitory nearby. Several buildings collapsed in the blast, trapping dozens of people. A hospital was severely damaged. Several of those injured were transferred to Kabul. Violence is increasing across the country. Fighting between the Taliban and government forces is fierce. According to the UN, more than 500 civilians, many of them children, have been killed in the first 3 months of this year.
North Korea has lashed out at the U.S. following Mr. Biden's comments in his address to Congress. Most poignantly, they said that what he said is simply Mr. Biden's attempt to continue enforcing a U.S. hostile policy against North Korea. We heard from Mr. Kwon Jong-un, who is essentially the foreign ministry in North Korea's point man on the United States. And those comments were printed in state media today. And he explained that because Mr. Biden has made these remarks, has suggested that North Korea's, what North Korea calls its deterrence, its nuclear program, is in fact a threat, that Mr. Biden and Washington only stand to continue to be an aggressor, and that North Korea will have to respond in kind somehow, a corresponding action, he said, because it's obvious the U.S. threat, as North Korea called it, is not going to end under Mr. Biden's administration.
Riot police scuffled with protesters and fired tear gas to disperse crowds during a traditional May Day march in Paris on Saturday. Debris fires burned, flares were fired and bank windows smashed in the French capital, where trade unionists were joined by members of the Yellow Vest movement and workers from sectors hit hard by pandemic restrictions. Thousands joined some 300 marches across France despite lockdown restrictions, demanding social and economic justice and voicing their opposition to government plans to change unemployment benefits. Arrests were made in the capital, where at least 5,000 police have been deployed, Parisian authorities told Reuters.
Elon Musk's SpaceX must halt work under a contract it won to develop a lunar spacecraft, NASA said on Friday, pending the outcome of challenges by rival bidders at the U.S. Government Accountability Office. Earlier this month, the U.S. Space Agency awarded SpaceX the lunar contract over billionaire Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. But on Monday, Blue Origin filed a protest with the Government Accountability Office, arguing, among other things, that NASA gave SpaceX the chance to revise its bid, but did not give that chance to Blue Origin. The company also argues the decision extends SpaceX's, quote, monopolistic control in space exploration. The GAO confirmed that Dynetics has also challenged the NASA contract awarded to SpaceX.
Iran wire sources report that this morning officers from the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, intelligence unit raided the offices of President Hassan Rouhani and Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. After a short altercation with the security guards of the president's office and the foreign ministry, the guards took a number of documents from the premises. The raids took place after government spokesman Ali Rabieh had stated that Iran's intelligence ministry was investigating the source of a recently leaked interview with Zarif. In the recorded interview, which was leaked to Iran International last weekend, Zarif had told journalist and economist Saeed Laylaz that he believed Iranian diplomacy had been sacrificed to the regime's military interests.
Houston police, responding to reports of a kidnapping on Friday, discovered more than 90 people crammed into a suburban home in what is suspected to be a human smuggling operation. The assistant chief of the Houston Police Department said the 90 victims, all but about 5 of them men, were found in their basic clothing, all huddled together. They were then removed from the house and given food and water. Several of the people showed symptoms of COVID-19, including fever and lack of taste or smell. The victims told police they had not eaten recently. They were issued personal protective gear and put onto white buses. It was not immediately clear where they were being taken.
A unanimous vote in Somalia's parliament, one that cancels a move in April to keep the president in power for 2 more years, restart a stalled democratic process and put an end to flaring violence. While President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed's term expired in February, political wrangling pushed back a parliamentary election at the time that would have chosen a new president. The lower house supported Mohamed staying on while the Senate rejected it, and tension ultimately boiled over into open conflict as Somalian security forces splintered along factional lines. The deadly clashes continued this week, inflaming concerns that terror group Al-Shabaab could take advantage of the chaos, with tens of thousands fleeing their homes and the spectre of Somalia's 2 decades as a failed state looming large.